And to take this conversation further, we are being joined by Jonah Blank, former foreign policy advisor to President Joe Biden, who advised Joe Biden and for 9 years on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. He's joining us live from Washington, D.C. Mr. Blank, good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
As you would know, campaigning is on its last leg, and the two presidential nominees, Republican and Democrat, are hitting the battleground states. But according to you, if it had to be one state that is going to be crucial in this election, which one would that be?
Well, that would be Pennsylvania. Whichever party wins Pennsylvania is extremely likely to win the White House. And that's just because of the American Electoral College system. We have a very odd and outdated way of electing a president, and most Americans are effectively disenfranchised.
Right. Mr. Blank, the U.S. elections are also taking place at a time when West Asia is extremely volatile. And at a time like this, when the Democratic vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz, says something like this, and I'm quoting him, the Harris administration would work side by side with Muslim Americans. I want to ask you, do you think this attracts more voters or alienates them? Because I'm asking you this because every single politician we see out of Washington, D.C., they're trying to almost toe this very delicate balance because they don't want to upset the American Jews or the American Arabs and Muslims.
That's true, but there is also a much more important element to factor into it, which is evangelical Christians. The strongest supporters of Israel in America are evangelical Christians, and they've moved from a sort of almost nonpartisan position several decades ago in the early 1970s to being the core of the Republican Party's base. And support for Israel is pretty widespread in both parties. From a progressive standpoint, there are many progressives, including myself, who really would like to see America take a much more balanced view. But right now, that's probably not the politically dominant view.
Right. Mr. Blank, I think you'll agree with me when I say this. Kamala Harris does, come and carry the liabilities of Joe Biden's administration, but she's also carrying the assets of it. In fact, just an hour back, we got the U.S. Bureau of Labor releasing a report that's stating that the economy has added 254,000 jobs in the month of September. And this is probably the last labor report that we're going to receive before the U.S. elections. So there's also that. And there's also, this of course comes at the heels of one of the largest dock worker strike that has just ended. How do you think all of this is going to play in the minds of the voters?
Yes, the economic news is actually quite good and has been for several years. Compared with almost any other country in the world, the U.S. economy is doing very well. The problem is that American consumers saw the price of groceries and a lot of housing, a lot of other things go up, and they want it to come down. And neither candidate can tell them the truth, which is prices generally don't come down. Just look at your life. Apart from gasoline and a few other commodities, when prices go up, they stay up. And that's not a politically easy thing for anyone, a candidate or the press, to tell them.
All right, Mr. Blank, it's interesting you say that. Thank you so much for joining us here on WION and getting us your insights, as always.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.